Hi there and welcome to Tech Life, a channel where I aim to review everything from selfie sticks to laptops to IDs for coding, video editing, software for producing thumbnails, essentially anything tech related. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. If you have anything that you think I should review, please let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to review that product. This video is going to be a quick follow-up to my previous VSDC tutorials. I'll leave a link to those videos just in case you've not seen them before. I'll be showing you the motion tracking functionality in VSDC in this particular short video. Motion tracking is used to do things like blurring out parts of a moving image that might contain sensitive information or somebody's face or maybe a number plate of a car, etc. It can also be used to tag certain parts of a moving image where the label actually moves along with the image as the image moves. Motion tracking in VSDC is done using something called movement maps, and although VSDC allows us to apply and use these maps and preview the effects of these maps in the free version of VSDC, the only downside is we aren't able to actually export these maps with our projects if we are using the free version. The only way we can do that is to upgrade to the pro version of VSDC. If you've seen my previous VSD tutorials, you will recognize the Lamborghini project that I'm just about to load into VSDC. There we go. I'll be using this project again to demonstrate motion tracking. I'll be applying motion tracking to the number plate of this Lamborghini, so I'm just gonna move the cursor to the correct position. So I'm going to try to apply motion tracking to this number plate over here, and in order to do that, we place the cursor in the correct position. We also make sure that the object is selected, so a single left click on the object itself, and then we do a right click and then we look for create movement map, which is just there. Okay, this is prompting us to save the movement map, and we can give that an appropriate name. License track I'm going to call it, and I'm going to save it in VSDC tutorial 4, which is fine. Click to save. The reason VSDC allows us to save these movement maps is that you can actually use the movement maps in other projects that you might have or might want to create in the future. So just like any other VSDC object, you can import it into another project. So this is the motion tracker screen. It's divided into 3 sections essentially. It's got the menu sitting at the top, the preview sitting in the middle over here, and right at the bottom here we've got our timeline. We can use the cursor and position this where we wish to start our tracking, so we can drag this left and right and find the exact position we wish to apply the tracking. So I'm going to start our tracking right about here. In the middle here we can see this reddish sort of box that we can position on the screen by dragging, and also we can focus in on a particular area. You might just be able to see a red dot in the middle of this object, and we try to place this red dot as close to the center of the object we're trying to track as possible. We can focus in on that object by dragging the sides of this box. So as I say, I'm going to try to track that license plate of the Lamborghini. So I'm just going to position this just about there, so that should be okay. Once we're happy with where we've placed our tracking object, we can come up to the top here and click the Start Analysis button, and this will actually start the tracking process. Okay. This is a bit hit and miss, because as the tracking starts, sometimes VSDC glitches or gets confused, and then it stops the analysis, and then you have to manually try to reposition this object in order to start the analysis again. So once you're happy with the placement of this, then you can start again, and this process you would probably repeat a couple of times in order for it to track the object correctly. So let's try again, start analysis again. Okay, it's gonna stop again, so I'm gonna reposition and start again, start analysis, and it's starting to create this track. You might just be able to see this line being created, so that's actually tracking that number plate now. And I'm gonna stop it just as this vehicle behind the Lamborghini overlaps that number plate. In fact, it stopped by itself. I think I can probably do a bit more, so I'm going to reposition this, and I'm going to probably make this slightly smaller. Let's try this. I can move that over slightly. Okay, let's try this again, start analysis again. Okay, I think that's probably as good as it's going to get. So we can see that VSDC has made this trace. If we go to the start of this. Okay, so next, once we're happy with the tracing process, we can apply the editing by clicking this button here. VSDC prompts us and says, okay, the object has changed, would you like to save it? We go ahead and say yes. So I'm clicking that, we return back to the editor screen. From here, we next have to create another object, which we place as a masking object. So I'm gonna logically you'd probably use something like a D logo in order to blur out the license plate of this car, but to be honest, if I placed a D logo here, you wouldn't be able to clearly see the D logo object tracking this license plate. So I'm going to place a brightly coloured rectangle box across here, and you should be able to see this tracking that number plate. So if I just place that there for now, I'm going to shorten the length of how long this object plays along the timeline, and then we need to double click this object and then come up to the add object menu and select movement, and within movement we select movement map. This dialog allows us to assign a movement map to an object. We are going to pick up the license track object, the license track movement map that we've just created. So we select that and click OK there. And now, as you can see, that movement map has been applied to this rectangle box object. If we go back to scenes, and if I do a preview, hopefully we should be able to see the box tracking that number plate. So that's the rectangle box, and as Lamborghini moved off, the box is pretty much covering that number plate. As I say, you probably use a blurring effect as opposed to an object like that. Excellent, so that was a short tutorial on motion tracking in VSDC. As mentioned before, even though VSDC allows us to add a movement map and it allows us to preview, it won't actually allow us to export that map if we're using the free version of VSDC, as I am. In order for you to do that, then you're going to have to upgrade to the pro version, which to be honest is not really that expensive. I think last time I checked it was around about the $19, $19.99, which probably works out to about 14 or 15 pounds. So it's good value for money. Hope you've enjoyed this short tutorial. If you have, please hit the like button and subscribe. Hope to see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.